Hello, hello.
Welcome to the Lume Plotters.
Martin, how are you today?
I'm doing wonderful, Ralph. And how are you doing?
I am doing very well as well. Yeah.
I see that you're double wristing.
Yes, I do.
It's been a while.
Yeah, as I said, I mostly do this for just fitness tracking and sleep tracking and all of these
But
stupid
you've been
things.
doing it recently? Because I thought you were only wearing one watch for a while.
Yeah, no, I did. I think I forgot to charge it and I left it, and then you forget about it, and
Yeah. So what's on the other wrist? We know we have the Apple Watch Ultra, but on the other one.
Yeah, since I am wearing blue jeans today, I thought I will wear a blue watch today, and it's the Blancpain 50 Fathoms Bathyscaphe 43 millimeters blue dial
ceramic.
Yeah.
That's very nice.
And it's on its original sailcloth strap,
which I also very much like.
Yeah, it's I have custom made straps because it's 23 millimeters lug width.
23.
Yeah, it's lovely, right? They could figure out something that is not.
I've never heard of. I've heard 24, 22.
Yeah,
21.
Welcome to Blancpain. And it's 23 millimeters, and that's why I got two custom-made straps, which I really like. But however, I wanted to go back to the original. I think it's still the most comfortable.
It's very nice looking. They match the color perfectly to the dial.
And it's fully swimmable. I had it in the pool a couple of times, and it still looks like brand new. Maybe it looks like brand new because it was in the pool.
Ceramic buckle.
Yes, buckle is all ceramic. It's really nice.
Yeah, as I told you guys before, right? Most of these watchmakers do tend to skip the ceramic buckle, and they go straight for PVD coated stainless or titanium or something. So it's very nice to see that there's an actual.
Yeah, it's nice, and it's so light. It's nice to wear, and the movement is beautiful. 120 hours of power reserve.
How much does it weigh? Do you know?
No.
Okay. I don't know anything about watch weights, but for the keen listener, you might know. I've had two Pelagos FXDs recently. Bought one, sold it. Then I bought another one, and I just sold it prior to this recording of this episode. And I weighed it. And I was very surprised by the weight.
Yeah.
It was 79 grams, I want to say.
Isn't that amazing how something can be so light?
However, that was 79 grams, just the head without a strap.
Oh, okay.
My Speedy, which I am wearing today, 76 with the strap.
Oh.
With the NATO strap. Oh. I was very surprised because they're both technically 42 millimeters.
Is this a plexiglass?
This is Hesselite. So it's not sapphire. So there could be some weight there, but the other one's titanium. This is stainless steel. It's supposed to be heavier, right?
Yeah, but no rotor.
The no rotor. That's another thing. Yeah. But I was very surprised by this. How can it be 4 grams lighter?
I think the case structure is a bit more solid because the solid links, the solid lugs, sorry, not links.
Oh yeah, the lugs.
That could be a bit.
Could be some weight.
But it's titanium. So yeah, you would be. It's surprising. It's surprising.
Sorry. I went back. I looked at my pictures. I was wrong. Oh. Sorry, my bad. 81.9 on the strap.
Yeah.
For the this is on the OEM Pelagos FXD strap. 72.2 without.
The FXD.
Yes,
head.
The FXD head is 72. Once again, titanium. And then with the strap, 75 for
it's very, very close.
But it's very, very close. And I was surprised by this, how close it is. It's random. But it was something that I never weighed watches. And I think it's something we should all get into, weighing watches.
Yes. And I recently did the nerdy thing and actually checked all the power reserve of all my watches.
Oh, yeah, you did that. Yeah, you mentioned this before.
And that was very interesting.
Yeah, I have not done this. I have never done this.
I think I talked about it in the podcast as well, but I was very surprised. German watches, the Hanhart and the Glashütte Original were like bang on. When they said like 60 hours, they were 60 hours. Or whatever they were. I think they were lower because older movements. But they were exactly what they claimed. Rolex was slightly below what they claimed, but not by much. So pretty close. Right?
Yours makes no difference. Right?
So Tudor as well, a bit about that range. That's like 69 hours when they said approximately 70. sometimes 71. So it was really close to the 70. But then all the Swatch Group brands, way above.
Yep.
Way above.
Ooh.
Sometimes 20%.
So once again, I want to mention the Swatch Group brands. I did try on a new watch yesterday or 2 days ago.
Do you want to say what
I'm wearing? Okay. By the way, I'll tell you what I tried on in a moment.
Okay.
I am wearing my Omega Speedmaster Man on the Moon, as Archie Luxury would say, right? The 1861 caliber. I have it on a tan-ish, like a medium light brown NATO strap made from kangaroo skin, which is super thin, so it doesn't stack up on your wrist because it's got the NATO underpass, which, by the way, I figured out. I don't know if you knew this, but I was figuring out the point of the second keeper. What is the reason why you have the two, not a single pass, but technically the double pass on the OEM or the original NATO straps? Do you know why you have both? So once again, going back to our strap episode, we have NATO straps and we have single pass straps because if the spring bars fail, it's still connected, right?
Yeah.
So we know that.
Yeah.
But what's the purpose of the second strap that goes underneath?
Is that you can move it around a bit on your wrist?
Nope.
Where it sits? No.
So some people said, and I thought for a while it was the fact that you don't, your spring bars are protected, which it kind of is because now you have a layer of material between the spring bars. But no, apparently when you pick it up and if your watch wasn't secured by that second piece, it could just slide right off the bottom. So this is a locker essentially for the top part that could slide around. So depending on how tight your lugs are, your spring bars,
okay,
right? Some are looser, some are, and back in the day, apparently they were very loose. So your watch would slide around on the single pass NATO. So if you were to just pick it up, it could potentially slide right off.
Sometimes we have to remind ourselves that tolerances and all of these things were not necessarily better in the old times, right?
And I noticed this. I had the same issue with my Hamilton khaki. When I had the Hamilton khaki, I put it on this strap. And if it wasn't for that, every time I picked it up, it literally slid down.
Yeah, if there's not enough friction, of course.
Exactly. Yeah. So apparently the friction is the whole point. It locks the watch to the strap.
I think with the newer ones, you have usually, it's very tight. Everything is there is not much space for NATO straps. And if you put a thick NATO strap through, there is so much friction that nothing,
it doesn't matter.
Nothing really slides.
What they were saying is that they're no longer needed nowadays. Yeah. However, it's still, from the old watches and the vintage watches, it's still a thing.
Right.
But anyway.
So what are you wearing?
So I mentioned. I said,
I have you.
Yeah, okay. 1861 Speedmaster.
Hesselite.
Hesselite's nice and scratched. I like it. It's got some patina, so to speak. Now, what did I try on?
Yes.
I tried on a watch that just came out, and I was very pleased to try it on. It was a watch that you have in your collection, however, not exactly.
Okay.
It was the Tissot PRX.
Yes.
Powermatic 35mm.
Oh, right. Yes.
The brand new one. I tried on the black dial variant.
Yeah.
And it was super cool.
A lot of people say that it works even. I mean, I love my 40mm PRX 80 because I have two of them. I have the dark blue and the ice blue, or glacier, depending on where, I think, which language you use. They use a different word for the color. But people who saw the 35mm say that it's the case dimensions and the dial and everything else and the date window and everything else just works better at 35.
So I have to say the date window being at the outmost looks good. It looks like the movement is the correct size for the watch itself. But, it was a very good looking watch. I hate date windows. And if it didn't have a date window, I probably would. I have one more gripe with the watch. One tiny, tiny gripe. I don't like that they put Tissot at the top and then 18 whatever.
Yeah, it's their logo. It's a bit ugly.
It's ugly.
It's very big.
But if you go back
numbers,
to vintage Tissot, they had the T and underneath it would say Tissot. And this to me looks much more clean because I maintain that logos should be in the shape of a triangle, right? You should have the least amount of stuff at the top because the watch also is getting wider as it goes down, right? So you should have the least amount of stuff at the top and then more and more as you go down. So
Right.
the Speedmaster, for instance, has the Omega logo, then it says Omega, then it says Speedmaster, then it says Professional. And each line is subsequently longer than the last. And with the Tissot, you have the T at the top, and then Tissot underneath would be perfect. But having Tissot longer with 18 whatever, which is shorter, somehow it just mixes things up for me.
Yeah, I think my Blancpain, when I just look at it, it has the logo on top, then it has Blancpain, and then underneath 50 Fathoms in a different font, and then Bathyscaphe. See, actually, and now that I'm thinking about it, it has 3 different fonts.
That's
on the
fine.
dial.
Who cares? So is mine. Wait.
For me personally, that's
Omega,
usually it's like
all caps.
Yeah.
Speedmaster in cursive. Professional in like this block.
Yeah, it's exactly
capital.
the same here.
So I do have 3 plus the font. Is there anything else? I don't know. Swiss made also a different font.
True. Yeah, Swiss made have it as well. Weird.
Who cares?
Yeah, but you know, usually when you use multiple fonts,
but
it's like.
Do you agree that Tissot is missing a logo, a proper logo, like a T or something?
They have this old logo that they use on some vintage versions with this little triangle shape. This
I like that one better. Yes,
slightly.
Yeah, I like that. I would take that.
Not cursive.
But the
italics,
block, the block Tissot writing, I just don't like it.
Yeah, I agree. It's a big. I really don't like the number. The year
1853, whatever it is.
And it's so big, right? They have recently just made the logo bigger. Yeah,
I don't like it.
That's true.
But otherwise, I love the watch.
But
the size is perfect.
You stop seeing it after a while. I mean, there's these other things sometimes that you just so get used to it, and it's just
This is one of these things that when you try it on for the first time, you see it and you do I want it?
I mean, the moment you wear it a few times, you completely forget about it.
Get rid of the date window, and I would buy one.
Yeah, that's maybe one of the topics for later.
What date windows? We already
know
did that
about
one.
how the watch community is toxic.
Oh yes. So that's a topic for today, right?
Yeah.
By the way, before we're going to do a few little housekeeping news things, but afterwards, the topic of the day is the watch community toxic?
Yeah. You know, you get our dissertation about it.
Yeah.
All right, here. I just quickly wanted to talk about this new Seamaster 300 for the Paris 2024 Olympic Games.
Okay.
The first in many Olympic Games watches that will come out.
I feel like we just had an Olympics like a year ago.
We did,
but
because of the pandemic, it was delayed and all of this rubbish, right? So we had Tokyo. And yes, and obviously, I think there was a lot of Olympic releases from Omega for the Tokyo Olympics.
Well, last year we had the Speedmaster, if I remember correctly, with the Olympic rings on the back or something like that.
Yeah, they had a few, I think.
It was the Tokyo,
anyway,
the blue and white.
We are in the middle of 2023, and we have the first Olympic 2024 watch released.
Okay.
Yippee-yi-yo. And I love it. It's actually very, very cool.
Well, it's a watch that you own, almost.
Yeah, just different colors.
Exactly.
Yeah. But so it does have, instead of a ceramic bezel, it has a golden bezel. It's the bezel is steel, but the insert. Is it moonshine
gold?
It is.
Of course it is.
It is moonshine gold and it has this laser etched structure on it, or relief. It has this like these hammered watches from Audemars Piguet. This is like has little holes. It's a very nice structure in it. And then the
frosted,
polished,
they call it frosted at AP.
Exactly. And then it has these polished numbers.
Oh, you know who else does this? The new G-Shocks, the 40th anniversary G-Shocks. That's what it reminds me of.
Exactly. Yeah, but it's soft to the touch. It just looks like it.
Yeah.
Which is completely weird.
It is, because the G-Shock, are you talking about the G-Shock now?
Yeah,
it's flat. So if anybody wants to see them, they're both of them at Dubai Mall, upstairs, 3rd floor, next to Grand Stores and Sharaf DG. They have both.
Okay,
on display.
I have to have a look, because usually, this is
they're kind of cool.
It's my swim lane, my G-Shock metal.
I don't
square.
think it's exactly. I think the silver one with the black with the negative display is super cool.
I have to take a look. Anyhow, so this one has a white ceramic bezel, golden hands, golden indices, surrounds and stuff. It's really, really nice. It has a few little details that I really, really like, which is that the date disc has the Paris 2024 Olympic typeface, the font, the date disc, and it has a solid case back with the gold, also moonshine gold, proper golden insert of the Olympic flame, which is I think the logo of the 2024 games, I think. Same in the front, it has the second hand has a lollipop hand with the logo inside it, which is also pretty cool.
Yeah, it's neat.
And it is a gold, moonshine gold and steel combined watch that actually has a steel bracelet, which is
Cool.
how I wear
Which
mine.
is exactly what you bought.
Yeah, funny enough.
So how much did they save on this?
Well, the 12,000 dirhams for the two-tone bracelet,
Yeah.
that the two-tone
Versus
bracelet costs,
4.
versus what between 3 and 4 for the steel one, it's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money.
What's the price on this?
Not much. No, unfortunately, it is
No price.
not available here in our country. It's only available in French Omega boutiques.
Really?
Yeah, that's of course a tiny bit of a bummer, and it comes in this really nice white box, which
Omega
also
does good boxes.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, they do.
It's really nice, and it just looks very, very cool. But I think one of the biggest surprises is when you look at the pictures on the website.
And I didn't notice this. I looked at this watch, but I did not notice this until Ralph pointed it out.
On the back of the watch, you see between the lugs, the bracelet has a quick release button.
Now, can I go off on this?
Yeah, please go off on it.
Okay. Now, this tells me a couple things. I have been waiting for a new Seamaster 300M to come out. I do like them. Going back, I'm wearing my Speedmaster now, which originally had on the bracelet.
Mm-hmm.
And I do believe that the previous gen 1861 Speedmaster bracelet is very, very similar to the current gen Seamaster 300M bracelet, right? It has a 5-link design, kind of weird, very little taper. On this one, there's no taper. On the Speedmaster, it was 20 to 18, so slight taper. But then, of course, they released the 3861, where they did the massive taper, right?
Yeah.
So I was waiting for Omega to release a new 300M with a mega tapered bracelet.
Yeah.
Now, here's what I get from this. The fact that they did something, that they actually created or worked on this existing bracelet, or they redesigned, because you'll go into this in a moment, it looks slightly different. This means to me we're not getting a new 300M anytime soon.
I think it's a stopgap. It's an in between update.
So this is for in car terms, this is a facelift.
Yes, it's a .2 version.
Yeah, exactly. But this to me means it's going to be a while before we see a new 300M.
I think you're right. I think this is it's an incremental one, and if you can see in between the lugs, you see that there is a normal spring bar.
Yeah,
which is brilliant, because I find this the one thing. I mean, I have a love and hate relationship with quick release.
Cartier Santos.
Yeah, Cartier, for example, is one of these people or the brands who are guilty of that. One of my favorite watch manufacturers, Deluxe, right, aftermarket watch Deluxe, has created a Cartier compatible quick release.
And then
straps.
Cartier said, no.
And they put an end to it and basically threatened to sue and said, like, come on, you can. I mean, they were actually quite nice. They said, sell whatever your existing inventory until a couple of months, they're free 3 or 4 months.
Yep.
And then you have to stop. And he said, okay, fine. What can I do, right? You can't fight them, really. It's too big of a company, Richemont lawyers to fight. But they have a patent, obviously, on the mechanism. And if you copy the mechanism, then, well, you have violated the patent. I mean, he could potentially come out with something that's compatible but different.
And this is what I was thinking, but I think that the design that you have to test, is it going to be,
worth it? Yeah,
how long would it, the longevity of it, et cetera.
Yeah, it's a bit like the Nespresso capsules, right? So you couldn't officially copy them, right? But then the patent ran out, and now
everyone makes them. Yeah.
Yeah. Now they come up with a new shape.
So now, anyway, your point here.
Come back. This bracelet. Yeah. What I like about it is that they have maintained a normal spring bar. That means you can have your NATO straps on it. You can change straps.
You can have your cake and eat it too.
Yeah. Exactly. You can put anything you want on this watch. If they had a quick release like Cartier, where it's proprietary and you can't put anything else on it. You just have that specific, like the Tissot as well, right? You have this Tissot PRX.
Oh, this super weird, small little spring bar.
It's a quick release, and it took them like 1.5 years to actually offer extra straps. So quick release, but for what? You had nothing to change it with. It was a bit weird. But now they have. finally.
But this is 20 millimeter lug width. This is one of the reasons I love the 300M.
Yes, it's nice. It's simple. You have a gazillion of choices. And they have come out also with some NATO straps for Paris 2024. So you can also use them on other straps, other watches if you like, if you just want to buy the straps. I'm not so sure if the straps are also exclusive to the French boutiques. I don't think so.
It looks good on the French flag strap, that for sure.
Yeah. So we are just looking at these different.
The James Bond. Those are not the exclusive one. I think is only the other one. Because this is the James Bond.
That's not really James Bond. The gold. I don't think.
Is it gold?
Yeah, that's gold.
I thought this was the Commander Bond strap.
No, this is striped dark brown, gray, and beige.
Gray and beige. Okay.
I
thought that was.
No, I think this is a new one. I think when we go through the other ones, we can see the proper Bond one. I think these are. But what we don't see. Here. This is the Paris.
Oh, there they go.
Paris 2024.
Okay, this is cool.
Look at this white and gold one.
They have some good looking things.
Matching us, it just looks very. That's a great.
And by the way, I do have for this Speedmaster the original NATO strap that Omega makes, and I have to say everyone else is miles behind in terms of NATO manufacturing. It's unbelievable how nice Omega straps are.
So here you have
Deutschland,
Sweden, and Italy. Anyhow, so I would say Tudor does really, really interesting NATO straps. They're different.
Oh, because those are made by a specific company. They're made specifically in France.
100 years old looms.
Not Jean Rousseau, the other one.
I forgot.
Jean Rousseau is a strap maker, but there's a company that makes these French straps.
Yeah, they make actually bands for clothing.
Yeah, they make a lot of different things.
They started doing these NATO straps because that's for haute couture. They make these little stripes that are very intricate detailedly woven, and
Julien Farr.
Yeah, and they work for like the big ones, the Chanels and Dior's and all of this.
And they use these 100-year-old looms that they say it takes what was it per day? They can make 2 meters of cloth.
On one loom. So I have a couple of them, but they're not anymore made, these looms. So they maintain them as much as they can, but they have limited production because that's all they can do. And the new looms, the new automated computer, programmable looms cannot make these detailed straps. Only these old manual ones or semi-manual ones can actually do this, which is very surprising.
Yeah, I think they're super cool. One of the things, once again, Tudor also has, I wouldn't call them traditional NATO straps.
Yeah, they're different textile.
They're fabric textile
straps. It's not nylon, it's a different
but
threads.
Omega is. And Omega makes NATO straps. And I think they're super, super well done.
Yeah, I wanted to buy the one for my Blancpain as well. The NATO strap, 23 millimeters, of course. It comes with a thankfully, it's I think 2,500 or 3,000 dirhams or something. But it comes with a ceramic material on it. So at least it's some justification. You're not just paying 3,000 dirhams for a strap.
Well, the Omega ones, I think they're like 690. I think that they're fairly, I mean, they're expensive for what they are, a NATO strap, but it comes with buckle, hardware, sign buckle.
Have you actually looked at the Omega eyewear? Sunglasses?
My wife and I were just in there yesterday or the day before, and she was looking at the sunglasses. They're
That's exactly my reaction.
2,500 dirhams. They had one that had the Constellation bezel. I was like, okay, it's kind of cool. They're trying to do new designs, but in the end, am I going to buy one? Never. No.
Yeah, but for me, it was the same reaction. I was like, oh, I really wanted to love them. Right? I wanted to like one. I wanted to buy one. But then when I tried them and looked at them, I thought, it's just very close. But no, I just didn't. Yeah.
Exactly.
Weird.
All right.
Anyhow, so that's the Omega, and I think this is good for us. I think there's a new bracelet on the horizon, and that seems to fit the old.
Will it be reverse compatible?
Yeah, I think so, because the case didn't change, so it should be just possible for us to get a.
And you were saying that it was also more rounded.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yes, I forgot to mention that. On the back, if you see the picture, and if I compare this to my own, I can see that there's so much more space and rounded edges around it. So the old one had a bit of a controversial reception because it was sometimes it could be very sharp.
Yeah.
right? Some people said it's cutting my wrist. I don't think really it did, but maybe if you have very soft skin, it might have happened. But I think that looks more comfortable. You can see that this is.
Well, I'm wondering, did they make the links smaller?
Maybe there's a bit more air between everything.
Yeah,
it used to be a very well made.
Yeah, exactly.
Well made.
We'll see it soon in stores because Omega doesn't mess around and they will pump it out soon.
Yeah, but what I think is a bit of a missed opportunity, and maybe because they have not yet brought out a new model, is they didn't taper, as you mentioned before.
Yeah.
It's not tapered. It's the same.
But I think it will happen.
One.
I think it will happen.
I think so too.
Can you show me a regular one? A regular 300M?
Yes.
And let's see if they have updated the bracelet on those.
When you look at the rubber straps, which are lovely, mine came originally on a rubber strap, that tapers a lot.
It does.
So
it's proper. Show me the blue one right there, or whatever, black one, yeah.
Or green or whatever.
Whatever color this is.
This is black, yeah.
And let's see the back of it. Did they update? No. So far it seems only the Tokyo one has, or sorry, Tokyo, Paris has the updated bracelet.
Yeah. And again, here, this looks, but at least here also, it looks a bit more rounded already. So that maybe it's some kind of update in between. Anyhow, so that was the Omega. And then you wanted to talk about some...
I want to talk about the new Tudor Pelagos FXD Alinghi. Yeah. Red Bull Racing. Yeah. And basically, okay, I don't like the watch. I'm going to say it. I like the original FXD. As you can tell, I would keep it if it wasn't so big, if it felt more natural on my wrist. But for this one, I don't like it. I don't like anything about it. I hate the fact that they put Alinghi Red Bull Racing on the Rehat, especially when you're trying to use it to time stuff. What's the purpose of having a chronograph if you cannot read 15 seconds of the chronograph Rehat, where you're supposed to be able to tell what second you land on?
Well, you can always use the
bezel.
It's a countdown bezel.
It is. Right? So
that's why it's
I do have an aversion. You don't need a bezel on a chronograph. It just why I hate diving chronographs. You took a watch, or they took a watch, that was very specific to one specific purpose. We know this was the MN. They designed the watch. They did a lot of collaboration with Tudor to design the original watch. They asked for the countdown bezel. They asked for every, the fixed lug bars. So why do we need this in for this Alinghi Red Bull Racing? It doesn't make sense.
Yeah. So for me, I must say, in general, I am a bit of a sucker of this blue and red. And, there was the Luna Rossa from Panerai, the Luna Rossa from Hublot. It depends who's sponsoring Alinghi.
Mm-hmm. It used to be AP, by the way.
And was with
Prada. They did an offshore.
Right? And so we have different watch manufacturers, and there was Prada was involved in Alinghi. So they had a cool style. I just love this Luna Rossa style. So anyhow, what I wanted to say is I like this color scheme. I'm not 100% sure. I have to see it in real. In real, is the case black or blue?
It's black.
It's black. So yeah, black and blue is always a bit of a tough one, right?
And then a blue dial, but it's titanium, but it's not titanium.
No, it's carbon.
No, the bezel's still titanium. The pushers are still titanium. The buckle is still titanium. Everything.
Just the case is carbon.
It's such a weird mishmash of materials.
It's a bit of a mishmash. I agree.
And then you take the one watch that was so specific for its purpose, and then you kind of, I don't know, whatever.
Point of my story. It's pretty light. Yeah. What's the point?
Point of my story is, okay, I don't like it. It's weird. However, Tudor started dabbling in new materials, right? Mm-hmm. They made a carbon case. And I always say this, Tudor is the test bed for Rolex.
Yes.
So I think in probably 5 to 10 years, because they take a while, Rolex will come out with a carbon case something.
Well, I mean, we have, I don't think we have Pateks, but we had a lot of APs in carbon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right. So,
but Rolex being that they just now made titanium, which was also after they've been using titanium in the Tudor.
Yep.
The Pelagos as well, right? So it's only logical that they're going to
definitely
play around with
it. I can completely agree with you. That
could you imagine a Daytona on an Oyster Flex band or strap, whatever you want to call it, in this black it's going to be a very, very interesting looking proposition.
I think, definitely something that could happen. If it's a Daytona or if it's something else, I don't know.
Yeah, who knows? But
Carbon.
the other thing, if we're going to nitpick on this as well, why didn't they make it a regatta timer?
Because they didn't have the movement.
They have the movement at Rolex.
Yeah, they don't use Rolex movements.
But they could have easily kind of made something for this special, right?
Yeah, I think
this is not something that's going to be selling in hordes.
This is still using the traditional
the Breitling.
exchange Breitling movement, the B01 movement.
Yeah,
right?
I don't like it.
And
they put a date window on it.
I think you will see lots more innovation in the chronograph space once they have their own chronograph movement, which is just released for the only watch, the prototype.
You mentioned this,
of the chronograph movement.
But it's also a vertical not vertical clutch. I'm saying it's a vertical 3-dial layout, which is strange, right? It's not your traditional, 2, 1 at 9, 1 at 6, 1 at 3, right? In their case, they did 12, 9, 6 for the 3 subdials.
Yes.
Which is strange. Breitling used to do this for a while.
Yeah.
Tudor used to do this for a while.
Tudor has had also on the Prince date, they had the date at 3.
Yep.
And the Cyclops.
Yep. So they did this kind of mishmash.
Yep.
So,
anyway. So for the FXD chronograph, you have a Lemonade company's name on it. Right? Energy drink name on your watch. That's always something where you think, is that so luxurious?
And it's on the dial. It's not on the case back.
It's really, really quite prominent.
It is very prominent. And that's one of the things that I don't like.
Yeah. And it's I don't know. I think the just the dial, the blue and the red, that looks really cool. I like that. But the rest of the watch, I have to see it in person, I guess. But
I don't think there's anything else
to see. What I like about it is it's cheaper.
Which means the carbon cases are going to be cheaper than titanium.
Yeah, but
they didn't have to make it cheaper.
Exactly.
Yeah, I know.
The carbon case AP is not cheaper than
of
the steel version, but they made it cheaper. I find this refreshing to have that now that we see prices going insane.
The same thing with Tudor. If you look at the FXD price versus the one on the bracelet, so the FXD is cheaper than the regular Pelagos, which also is cool.
Yeah.
Right? They didn't have to make it cheaper.
No, they didn't have to, but they did. So,
all right. Let's go on to the topic of the day because I think we've done too much other.
Yes, exactly. Is the watch community toxic? Because
short answer, yes. End of podcast.
Okay.
See you guys later.
Yeah. I think we can agree on that. I think the thing is, for example, when these days, I think it's a bit of a philosophical thing. When in the old days, when you were not happy with something, you would just not talk about it. You would just not have an opinion on it, right? If somebody says like, I hate date windows, you think and look at them and say like, how can you hate, first of all, inanimate objects? How can you hate a software? How can you hate is a very strong word.
Yep.
And nowadays, everything is just very opinionated and tribal. Oh, you have an Android phone, so you must hate Apple. No, why?
It's binary, right?
Yeah, it's like, oh, you are using Windows, so you must hate macOS. No, why? I mean, this is all when I think that tribalism is just replacing a lot of other, needs that humans have to be part of a tribe, to be part of a specific subgroup, of a small area of my buddies that are the same like me, right? So now I have the feeling that watches and watch people also have that, because there's these people like every watch above 40 millimeters is too big and it's ugly.
Yeah.
And then there are people who are saying like, no, it has to be small, it has to be big, it has to have a date, has not have to have a date. And every new watch release, I can guarantee you make a 3-hand, let's say for the fun of it, a 2-hand watch, right? A 2-hand watch that looks brilliant, and everybody thinks like, okay, it's a really nice design, very simple 2-hand watch. You will have equally 80% of the watch people saying, yeah, but who designs a watch without a second hand? Who designs a watch without a date? I would buy it immediately if it would be 42, 43, 44, 39, 36, 35, whatever it might be. But
anything
everybody has one. So it's like, I would buy, like you just said, I would buy this watch if it didn't have this. And you think, probably you wouldn't buy it. But
no,
these
and
are
that's the other thing is we say it like this. Okay, you have X amount of missed sales.
Yeah.
Because you didn't do this. Well, no, because just because these people are saying they would buy one, let's wait till they actually put the money on the table.
Exactly.
They're not actually going to buy it. So, yes, which is funny because I didn't expect you to take this in this direction of this tribalism. I was thinking more along the lines of the watch community is toxic because of the rise of Instagram and social media. That's kind of my idea.
Yeah.
I remember prior to Instagram being big with watches, nobody cared what you did, what you wore. You can wear I wore, if I bought my Submariner, I bought it exclusively for myself. I didn't expect anyone to know what it was. I didn't expect to post pictures about it. I just expected to, beat the hell out of it and wear it. And on the other hand, now with, you look online, and this is one of the things that I often look at and see. And I kind of, even me, it kind of, I wouldn't say it bugs me, but it gets in my head is you see these collections and you're just like, whoa. Yes. And I'm like, my collection sucks compared to XYZ. Yeah, and this is the thing is you see one guy, he has 3 watches. I'm like, I want 3 watches. I don't need any, I'm okay with 3 watches. I see one guy with 10 watches. I want 10 watches. I see one guy with this, one guy with that. And it's always feeding into your brain. And, it's constantly processing in the back of your brain. What if I had this? I would be happier if I had that. Should I sell this for that? And blah, blah, blah.
I suck. I want that.
Exactly.
And then I would be happy and I would be whole.
And that
for exactly 3 seconds.
Exactly. Grass
and then I would think about something else again. No, I think you're absolutely right. That's a different kind of toxicity. I think it's is that you always compare yourself up.
Yeah.
Right?
You never compare down.
Yeah.
Well, I know, kind of. Because I did say, once again, I saw a guy with 1 watch or something, and I'd be like, you know what? I should have just one of my watches. I should sell everything else. Yeah. So I do think that way as well.
It's like with the Grail watch. When you have that, when you think, would I sell everything I have in my collection to have that watch? And then I would be happy.
Yeah. Truly happy.
Truly happy. No, probably not. But anyhow, so my point is there with this up comparing is the moment you have achieved something, it becomes normal after some time. And the proper way I learned is to compare to yourself 5 or 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Just say, is my life better now than it was 5 years ago? Do I have a nicer collection now than I had 5 or 10 years ago? And yes, right? And if 10 years ago, would you have ever thought that you were running around with Rolexes and, Omegas and all of these luxury brands? No way. You would have thought like, no, that's not for me. It's not my thing. Or it's just out of my budget or whatever. Yeah. Your life conditions were not in that. There was not even on your mind or on your horizon, right? It's very rare that people have this with watches that they think like, oh, I'm aspiring, like when I'm turning 40, I want to have that watch. A lot of people don't have that anymore with watches, or didn't have this when they were young. Yeah. When you are young, you're not thinking about this. When you are young, you still think about a car.
Yeah, and this is the thing, is now we're talking, you're listening to, I should say, to 2 people who have watches that cost more than their cars. Right? So 100%.
Yes, at the moment,
and then not our collection. We're talking singular. We both own at least, and I have multiple watches that singularly, if you take one by themselves, is worth more than my car.
Yes.
And it's
current market value, 100% agree.
Exactly. Yeah. So market value of the car plus market value of the watch. And this is one of the funny things is I never thought, before I was into watches, I flipped cars every year. Mm-hmm. And just the amount of money I probably, ended up wasting on that was tremendous. But that was my hobby at the time. And okay, whatever. You normalize what your hobby is.
Sure. Yeah.
But with watches, I haven't had a new car in 10 years. And I kind of like it.
Yeah. Sometimes it's a bit relaxing, right? You don't have to think about it. With my car, I'm always thinking, what would I buy instead? Yeah. And I come back to, well, mine does that already. So I really don't feel the need.
You buy more car parts.
Yeah. Well, replacement parts because
replacement part, exactly.
which is the most annoying thing if you have to buy things because
That you
I
already
spent a
own?
lot on my car this year. Yeah, and just there's no improvement.
It's
Right?
just the same.
When you have like my coffee machine broke and I bought a new one. The
A
new
better
one
one.
is better.
Yeah.
I'm happy.
But when
if
you
I
buy a suspension,
yes, it's just the same. It's just working, and that's annoying. Yeah.
well, no, this is what I do try to upgrade whenever something breaks on my car. I do try to get a better version. So, for instance, when my wife's suspension broke, I got her a lift kit because why not? And okay,
Yeah, but that's the thing. My car doesn't even. There is no upgrade really.
I told you what the upgrade.
The upgrade is I have air suspension.
Yeah.
I have my own lift kit. I can lift it up like 5 centimeters or something.
Yeah.
But it doesn't make a difference. I mean,
So you go into actual
what
suspension.
is my upgrade is having a normal steel suspension.
Exactly.
It's not an upgrade.
It's not an upgrade, but it's different. And oftentimes, once again, I should say this. This goes with watches as well. It's not about upgrading.
Yeah.
It's just about being different, right? You want something different. And this is one of the itches that you often get in your collection is, I don't care what. I will add a 200 dirham watch to my collection just to feel something. I'll sell it in 2 weeks, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah, sometimes it is like this. Yeah, you need just to scratch the itch.
I was bidding on this Hamilton Pioneer Aviation Pilot or whatever it's called. The small 36 millimeter one.
Mm-hmm.
So it has the H50 movement from the Hamilton khaki, but it's a much nicer finished watch. So I bid on that. I lost by 100 dirhams.
Oh,
yeah, but
you might have lost by more than that. You don't know how far the other person
the guy would have gone. Yeah, so I stopped. I said to myself, 1,000 dirhams all in. That's it. And then the guy bought it for 1,000 plus the 15%.
It's okay. Sometimes it's good to set yourself limits in these auctions because
I didn't really want it is what it came down to. Right. I was like, I want it, but I don't really want it. I'm like, okay, we'll see what happens. Okay. So. But yeah. Anyway,
coming again back to toxicity. I think there's a lot of gatekeeping from people, right? I see this in online forums a lot. There's a forum on What You Seek, for example, as Rolex and Tudor. It's a combined forum, and you have so much of gatekeeping. Tudor fans are being poo-pooed on by the Rolex people who are saying like, yeah, you're the poor brother, you're the poor cousin. It's just wannabe stuff. And then you have people who think just because they have one Rolex, they are the kings of the hills and they can, look down on people. And you think, dude, you have no idea what's out there. This is one of the
things is generally speaking, I don't appreciate people, knocking down people who are either just getting into the hobby.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the biggest things that we have to overcome is somebody getting in, let's say you go out and buy yourself a Hamilton khaki as your first watch. Mm-hmm. It's a fantastic first watch. Yeah. Way better than my first watch was.
Yeah.
And if somebody immediately says, this is a crap watch, then that person probably, are they going to want to participate in the watch community? Are they going to just, run away and say, I'm done?
I agree.
And this is one of the things.
Definitely, they don't want to, participate in this community.
Yeah.
They might still go with watches, but they might not share anything.
Yeah.
I totally agree with you. And often people are saying like, oh, but this is quartz.
And I have to say on What You Seek is really one of these situations that they continually demean people, right? So I remember.
Yeah, it depends on which brand's forum, but there's a lot of it.
In the general, I posted once about something and immediately I got one guy, there was like 5 people that were supporting what I was saying, but there's one guy. And he continually just was going polar opposite. Oh, you're terrible. You're probably a flipper. And I'm just like, what are you talking about? Like,
Some
it
people,
made me want to. Then I hated the watch.
And some people live in these forums, and they post on so many watch forum parts with different brands. And I mean, if you are a Rolex hardcore fanboy, right? Why do you post on everybody's Tudor watch and tell them that this is a cheap knockoff of the better brother, the Rolex, or you just make demeaning comments? And that's why I think it's not necessarily the watch community that's toxic. Generally, the debate culture in our times at the moment is toxic. Social media.
Social. I mean, once again, you can have
can be
this
very
can be
toxic.
Nike versus Adidas. This can be anything. Ford versus Chevy.
Yeah, and it's really like that.
And this is, so it's not exclusive to watches. But then on the other hand, we have, watch groups that are smaller groups, like our Dubai watch group that we have on WhatsApp.
Yeah.
And there, there's a lot of debate and stuff going on, but I feel like a lot of people are well-versed. They know what they're talking about. We welcome new members, right? If somebody's new, we generally aren't going to poo-poo all over them. And
it's a nice community. And I think it's a very positive community.
It is.
In general, we are always very positive about everything. Right.
And somebody can say, "Oh, I got a new watch alert," and it could be a 800 dirham swatch, or it could be a 80,000 dirham Longa. And either way, we'd be like, "Congratulations!"
Yeah,
right?
exactly. And that's and everybody's happy, and it's to congratulate you for your new purchase, whatever. Because obviously you bought it because it makes you happy,
and that's ultimately what it comes down to.
You. Yeah,
don't listen to others. Do whatever makes you happy.
Exactly. And if you find positive communities, if you find people who are nice and
so
who are actually just lifting you up instead of pulling you down, then stick with them.
Yeah.
Just don't go to the people who pull you down.
Why would you
get
right?
on your nerves, or you make you rile you up? I had this very often when you have debates on some forums and you get so angry you can't sleep, right? Because you think that, oh my God,
I should have said this.
Yes, and I have to tell this person that he's wrong. And you think like, no.
So you know what I do in this case, by the way? I have a system. I do this for YouTube videos. I do this for everything, Facebook, whatever you have. Write out your response and then delete it. You'll be surprised how much better you feel. Just don't click the publish button, right?
Okay.
Write whatever you want. Like, you are an idiot, blah, 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 blah. And then just delete it.
All right.
And it for me, somehow it works.
That's interesting. I heard this as a coping mechanism when you want to, when you have also relationship issues and all that. Write them on a piece of paper, right? Write it down, get it out of your system, and then, tear it apart and throw it into the ocean or something.
Yeah, exactly.
But it works. Somehow it's just like, it's gone. It's
because
done.
I watch like a YouTube video and immediately the guy says 10 things that are incorrect. And I want to, of course, correct him. And generally I say, it's not my space to say anything negative or to correct this person.
Yeah.
I guarantee you somebody else is going to do it as well.
Right.
So leave it be, unless it's life or death, there's no reason. If the guy's going to,
Yeah, it's a very good point. Very good point. We should live with that.
Yeah.
So, and I think just generally, just don't indulge into name calling, into people getting angry with things, and just hitting the small people. Right? It's very easy very often that people think, look, we are now this cool boys club, this frat group, basically the fraternity part.
I don't know. I still have imposter syndrome. Even within the watch community. One thing that really does piss me off is when people, I told you this before, is I'd be wearing a Submariner and I'd go up and there'd be a guy wearing a Submariner and I'd say, "Nice Submariner," and he would say, "Oh, what do you mean? This is a Rolex," right? And they have no idea about anything, and that still bugs me a little bit. But ultimately, when somebody has something nicer than you, it should
I think
motivate you.
Yeah, there's also culturally there is a lot of these things. I mean, in certain European cultures, you have this when your neighbor comes home with his new car, and then you have either the neighbor saying, "I wonder where he got it from. I'm not so sure he paid his taxes," or I think he's involved in some criminal activity.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
I told you this. I think I told you this saying.
Or you come home and then have the neighbor going and say like, "Amazing, cool car.
Yeah.
Can you show it to me or something?"
Yeah.
So there's just, you choose how you react to it.
Yeah.
You
and
can be
ultimately,
happy.
I told you this saying. I saw when somebody around you gets something that they don't deserve, just remember, I just want to be the person that also gets something that you don't deserve, right? So you probably already have something that you don't deserve, and then somebody else is looking onto you in the same way.
Yeah.
right? So
Don't be like
it's
that.
all
Don't be that person.
relative,
Just
right?
be happy.
Yeah.
Be happy for yourself. Be happy for others. Be happy with what you have achieved.
We say this, it's harder said than done, but
Yeah, you can always strive for more. That's fine. But, just don't let this affect your
mentality.
and your
and
mental
once again,
state.
it's still
so many people have mental
we are
issues
two people
now.
that talk about watches on a podcast for fun, right? And yet I still and Ralph also still has this, not anger, but we still get upset with these forums, with these videos, with all these things. We still have this in our, it's only human, right? It's natural.
Of course. Yeah.
So if you're, a budding young enthusiast, don't get disheartened by somebody saying your watch is crap. You tell them, no, it's not. And these are the reasons why it's cool.
Yeah.
Ultimately, buy what makes you happy.
Absolutely. And a good response is, so, for example, don't justify. This is my favorite watch. And leave it like that.
Yeah.
There's no but movement, but.
Or just don't respond at all and you'll be even
just
better.
like, nah, this is my favorite watch. Yeah. I love it.
Ultimately,
just be confident.
These trolls, they really hate when you don't respond to them.
Yeah, ignoring them is the best. It's absolutely, I agree with that as well.
And on that bombshell.
Yep, on that bombshell, we call it a day. And it was lovely talking to you, Martin. So
you as well. Once again, guys, follow us on Instagram at Lume Plotters. Write us, message us.
And we hear you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.